We've heard the most explosive evidence yet at today's sex abuse trial of Ghislaine Maxwell in the Manhattan Federal Court. The jury heard that Jeffrey Epstein transferred millions of dollars to Ghislaine over 8 years, including enough to purchase a helicopter, while a second woman testifies about the sordid details of Epstein's demands, including his need to have sex 3 times a day. Joining us now is US commentator and CEO of Recastled, Kosha Gada. Kosha, this is the second of 4 women to come to this trial, and her evidence was just shocking, wasn't it?
It was. This is day 6 of this trial, and it appears that we are only scratching the surface of what is likely to be a bottomless pit of salacious details about this operation and everything that's going to be recounted in that courtroom. But I think, the real thing that's gripping people in this story and why there's so much public interest in it is really a story behind the story, Chris, because this is all about, how this kind of an operation was allowed to continue and manage to escape any sort of investigation or prosecutorial action for so many years. How Jeffrey Epstein acquired that much wealth to the tune of, transferring those amounts that you mentioned. How come nobody knew about it? Who was in this little black book that featured on day 1 of the trial? The names, we've heard some of them, but who else was in there? What did they know and when did they know it? And that sort of, it lends itself to this issue of trust in the system. And a lot of people are just really scratching their heads about, what does this mean and why was this allowed to go on for as long as it did?
Yeah, it's multifaceted. You're so right. And also, I think there's a great demand for the women to eventually get some kind of justice here, if that is possible. But also, getting back to the Black Book, are you, from what you've read and what you've read between the lines, are you confident that at some stage during this trial we will get a full list of the famous American identities who turned up at Epstein's properties?
I hate to say it, but if I had to bet on it right now, I would not be betting on it. And it's, it's American identities, it's international identities. They're very, very, very prominent, powerful people have been named as being involved in some way with Epstein and Maxwell. Some of the names have leaked, but this whole thing, starting with the legal reasons, since this is being tried in federal court, there's a law or rule that cameras are banned, so we don't see anything that's happening. And the witnesses are all testifying under pseudonyms, so we really have very limited information. And then layer on top of that, the media coverage has been really, really, really sparse, which is another thing that a lot of people are frustrated with because it suggests that there's sort of, the system is arraying against that type of information becoming public. So we'll see, but I think all the forces are sort of aligning in a way that I'm not sure that we're going to get full transparency of that, but
all right.
We'll see what happens.
Everyone will be disappointed.